let's try another one. So we've got our three equations and three variables. Once again, I'm going to label them. And it's up to you which ones you do first. Okay? I am going to try to cross out my z's because they look like they're smaller numbers, but it's completely up to you. So, because this z has a 1, it's easy to multiply it by anything. So if I take equation 1 and equation 2, 1 is 5x minus 2y minus 3z equals negative 7. 2 was 2x minus 3y plus z equals negative 16. Now they're not able to be crossed out yet because one's a negative 3, one's a positive 1. But if I take this one and multiply it by a 3, then it'll be opposite. So this one doesn't change. So 5x minus 2y minus 3z equals negative 7. 3 times 2 is 6x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9y. 3 times z is plus 3z. And 3 times negative 16 is negative 48. Okay, so now we need to add them. 5 plus 6 is 11x. Negative 2 plus negative 9 is negative 11y. Negative 3 plus 3 goes away. Negative 7 plus negative 48 equals a negative 55. So this is our equation 4. Now remember, we also have to have another equation. We haven't used equation 3 yet. We used 1 and 2, so we got to use 3. Okay, so 3 is 3x plus 4y minus 2z equals 7. I can either use 1 again or I can use 2 again. I'm going to use 2 once again because there's a 1 and it's easy to multiply. I need to say negative 2. But first let's write it. 2x minus 3y plus 1z equals negative 16. If I take all of this one times a positive 2, that's going to get rid of my z's here. This one is the same because we're not multiplying it by anything. Sometimes you do have to do. So don't forget to do that sometimes. So 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6y. 2 times 1 is 2z. And 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. Now we can add. Three times 4 is 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. 4 plus negative 6 is negative 2y. Negative 2 plus 2, it cancels. 7 plus negative 32 becomes negative 25. This is our equation 5. Now remember, our next step is to put 4 and 5 together. So 4 said 11x minus 11y equals negative 55. 5 says 7x minus 2y equals negative 25. Now, neither one of these is the 1, either x or y, so you choose which one you want to get rid of. Okay, y's are smaller, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. So 2 times 11 is 22, so if I take this top one times 2, and this bottom one times 11, but they're both negative currently, right? One of them has to be positive. It does not matter which one. So I'm going to take and multiply my top one times a negative 2. So negative 2 times 11 is negative 22. X, negative 2 times negative 11 makes a positive 22 at y, sorry. Negative 2, sorry, there's a glare. Negative 2 times negative 55 is equal to a positive 110. 11 times 7 is 77x. 11 times negative 2 makes negative 22y. And 11 times negative 1, or negative 25 is what's that, 11 times negative 25 makes a negative 275. So now we can add these. Negative 22 plus 77 makes a positive 55x. These cancel. 110 plus a negative 275 is a negative 165. Divide by 55. We get x equals negative 3. So we found 1. So now we're working backwards. So now we have to plug it into 4 or 5. So 4 was our 11s, and 5 was our 7 and our 2. Let's go ahead and do this one. So 7 times negative 3 minus 2y equals negative 25. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21 minus 2y equals negative 25. So solve, so add our 21. Negative 2y equals 4. Divide by 2. Negative 2y equals negative 2. So we found x, we found y, so that leaves z. Let's go back to either equations 1, 2, or 3. Once again, that 1 in front of that z is going to make my life really easy. So I have 2x minus 3y plus 1z equals negative 16. We found x is negative 3 and y is negative 2. So 2 times negative 3 minus 3 times negative 2 plus z equals negative 16. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 3 times negative 2. Oops, I'm sorry, that was a negative 4 there. Negative and negative should have made a positive. So positive 2 here makes a negative 6. So negative 3 times positive 2 makes negative 6. Plus z equals negative 16. Negative 6 and negative 6, when you subtract them, negative 12 plus z equals negative 16. Add your 12, z equals negative 4. So our order triple, negative 3, positive 2, negative 4. Now, try C on your own.